Hey everyone, in this video we're going to show you how to draw a grouping of trees in perspective. So grab your pencils and let's get drawing. So this is going to be more of an artistic sketch, maybe with some trees starting over here, and perhaps what we'll do is we'll go back down some sort of path that kind of leads farther away. So, you know, the path might start off somewhat wider over here, and over here perhaps just kind of goes back and back and back and kind of goes back. So you know, a bit of an abstract piece, so don't worry too much about the path. What we'll do is we'll probably get a big tree over here and we'll do some smaller ones as we go along. We'll do a mix of like different types of trees and different styles in terms of like a pine tree and perhaps like a maple tree and things like that. So certainly we'll want to make sure that we, you know, represent all the different types of trees out there. Trees are always a little different, so there's no exact way to draw a tree, which is, in a way, it's kind of nice because you can kind of say, well, this is how nature created this tree, and that's how I want to create this drawing, this part of my drawing. So, so I'll just start off by just doing kind of one tree just over here, just perhaps right at the base of the path. We'll probably change the path to like a stone, some sort of stone path, maybe cobblestone. So for now, I think I'll just get the base of this tree with some roots kind of, sometimes the roots kind of like protrude out. So, you know, you want to make sure like you represent that tree as best you can. Sometimes you might want to do like an upside down piece over here. So sometimes like, you know, your roots kind of go like this as well, right? So if you want, you can kind of follow this. And sometimes there's like a crevice, and every tree is of course a little bit different. So this is certainly a great way to kind of start off your drawing. What you want to do up here, and we're not going to do the whole tree because I think this tree would be very, very big, but we'll start to get the branches kind of going, you know, in some sort of structure up here, and perhaps another piece over here. And that's probably a good way to kind of start your drawing as well. You could kind of, you know, get this drawing going in a way that's representative. So this is a tree that kind of has what we call like an upward opening. So a lot of parts of the tree kind of start to open up, and you'll kind of see that over here. A couple branches out over here. Okay. And perhaps there's like another branch over here that we can just put on. So we'll start with this kind of structure right there. We'll get the trunk of the tree kind of growing into the branches. So we'll do that as well. And if you want, you can hit it with your own smudge technique if you wish. It might help just let some of the lead move around on the page. So you can do that, use your eraser as you need to, and just kind of clean up any parts that you wish as well. So this is kind of the first tree without the leaves. We're still not at that stage yet. What you could do is just get some darker shades around the sides. So perhaps this side of the tree you might want to get a little bit darker, presuming there's like a light source coming from here, roughly. So you can do that as well. Now, this is the most detailed part of the tree drawing, in the tree here. But as we go back, we might want to perhaps just start some more abstract trees. But before I do that, we'll just maybe get another tree in over here. And this tree might, if you wish, just kind of go straight up like that, and perhaps be more of a taller tree. So we'll have that tree right there as well. So we'll do that. This one will go right up. Okay. And then what we'll do is we'll start to put in maybe some of the background trees in here as well. So even just a couple pieces over trees over here. This one we might do a little bit thinner on the bark and the base of the tree. But what we might want to do over here is just try to draw out some kind of branches that, you know, like an evergreen tree might sometimes have these like, you know, the branches that kind of come out straight on the side, and they kind of certainly go thinner as you go up to the top. So this is certainly a great little addition to this drawing. And if you do that, you might also want to just put on, you know, ever so slightly, just some needles and stuff like that. So you can put on some needles if you wish. The needles might just take some time. So maybe I'll do some now and some later, but you can kind of see where I'm going with this. The other part is this sketch might also have some cobblestone, right? So if you want to draw cobblestone, the trick to drawing cobblestone is just a random sporadic shaping. So kind of round, oval, the gap between each stone is random. Typically they're not in a row. So if you have a stone and a stone, you might have a stone in between the two, right? So you might also just get them in between. Like the point of a cobblestone is to really space them out and just make sure that there's not like a kind of random row of stone that just kind of exists. So that's what we're trying to do over here. The other kind of thing about cobblestone is that as you go farther away, they're obviously going to get a lot smaller. So you're going to have bigger cobblestones like over here. So your bigger stones will kind of sit over here. And the way I'm kind of drawing this is just around this part of the tree. It kind of starts to kind of wrap around the tree. So, and I do want them to be nice and large over here because this shows perspective, right? This is kind of how we draw perspective with cobblestone. So keep that in mind. This tree kind of started to grow all over this cobblestone, and that's perfectly fine as well. So that's how this drawing is coming together. So what we'll do is we'll just kind of start to put on a little more cobblestone over here. And as we go back, we just basically continue this process of just getting some nice cobblestones on here. And they go really, really small. So you kind of see, like, as you go from here and back, they really start to get small. And I am being a bit more abstract with it. So you might actually start to see some of these just really start to fade away. And I'm purposely doing that because they really start to get tiny, like as you go back. So you might even start to just put a few lines at the back. And when it really comes down to it, you know, you could just fade that path out that way as well. So as we start to kind of put this drawing together, what we might want to do is also just look at some trees in the background over here. And this tree might come up over here with some leaves. So I think what I'll do is I'll speed this part up. We'll add in some more trees and we'll come back and maybe put some details on some of these trees a bit later. But for now, we'll speed this up just to kind of keep this video flowing. So I'll be right back. All right, so we're back. We basically just plowed through everything and did all kinds of shading and some kind of different types of trees. We did some pine trees and we did some, I guess you could call maple trees or all kinds of different trees here. So, you know, it's really interesting to see how this comes together when you start to really put a lot of the details in. So I think at this point, what I'm basically doing is just looking at if there's any areas that I might want to adjust, or this is perhaps a long trunk of a tree that is kind of overlapped by this other part of the tree. So I think that that's something that is overlapping a little too much. So what if that happens to you? like this tree's in the background. So over here, when I started just putting these circles which represented the leaves, you could do an erase like I just did and just redraw those circles as well. Just give them a smudge out to kind of let them, you want the lead to kind of move around the page, right? You want to let the lead kind of dictate your story of what you're trying to draw here. So that's how I kind of would draw this kind of scenery, right? I would put more lines on the pine trees. So if there's any other pine trees here that I feel are not right, like showing quite right, I would kind of go back and just put a few more lines on them. So that's what I'm doing right now. And does not have to be complicated, you know. This is not something that you have to really put too much thought into. The best part about this type of drawing is that it can be abstract and it can be however you envision this to be. So you can see what I'm doing right now is just putting some shading on some of these branches on the tree. And that was something that I think was certainly needed. I think back here we wanted a tree, but we just wanted to show the bark of the tree and the base. So if that's the case, I think this part should be erased just ever so slightly. And we'll just kind of get that back there. And you know, you could draw the roots in the ground any way you like. For me, I just kind of do this side to side thing where you kind of let the roots kind of grow out in different ways, right? So this is a 5B. So I'm using the 5B just to kind of give some more darkness to that. And then I think, you know, the other part of this drawing is just grabbing something even darker and really just getting some nice tones and some nice shadows on this page. So this is an abstract, so you can kind of, you know, free-handedly just kind of put on some darker tones, and just, if your light source is over here, you can kind of add some shading to the sides where they oppose your light source, right? The other good thing about maybe a dark pencil like a 7 or an 8 is just some of these trunks on these trees could be darkened up quite a bit. And if you agree, you can just go on and just kind of do that. So hopefully you're seeing that there. There's even a tree back there. And I think as you go farther back, like I want that to be a little more abstract. So I'm actually okay with smudging out quite a bit of this back part of this drawing, because I do want this to, you know, be a bit more of an abstract piece and just something that kind of tells a story, like take a journey down this path, if you will. So hopefully you're enjoying this, and hopefully you're kind of liking what we're putting together here. I want this one to be a bit wider. I want like just a bigger base on this tree over here, and I think that will show a lot better. So now again, this is kind of the part of the drawing where we're just looking through and just doing some cleanup and stuff like that. I might also benefit from just darkening up some of these leaves up here, and in doing so just kind of adding that. So anyway, I think we're looking pretty good for this drawing. Hopefully you really enjoyed this process and kind of what we put together. We'd love to hear from you and your comments in the comments below, and give it a like and subscribe. We'd love to have you back. We have lots more videos coming and planned. So at this point, I'd probably just say thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.